Good morning, everyone. This is Miss Hashin, and I will be presenting on engaging students in science instruction. And I am a fifth grade teacher. What I'm going to present can be used in any grade, but specifically, I was gauging towards my fifth grade community. So let's take a look. Motivation is the first topic that we are going to speak on. So, with motivation in science, young children are typically already interested in nature and the environment and how things work. You can take advantage as a teacher of the information and experiences they bring with them to school. You can consider the many and diverse transportation options and how those cause pollution, what they see when they walk to school, and what we can find on our own school grounds. When you think of motivation and all of these different things, it's very important to consider your diversity in students that you have. For instance, my school, we live in a city, so we're near DC, and a lot of our kids travel on the metro. And then we also have students who walk to school. But then in the back of our school, we also have trails and a large yard for our kids to play in. So you can take advantage of many different things that cause motivation in the students. So if you look over to the right of the screen, you can see where children are on nature walks. So maybe you can go in the back of your school and look for different things. We see students making plants together. And then we also see the metro, where you can talk about the different ways that their transportation can affect, either in a good way or in a bad way, their environment. The next topic I'm going to touch on, and I don't want to spend too much time in our presentation, but it is called engagement. So engagement in science is very, very important. And this is something that I take to heart. It's very nice when your students are always excited and so forth, but there are times where you come where your students are not wanting to engage. But some ways that you can do that is you can make them feel like a scientist. Students are naturally wanting to know why. They always have the question of why this, why that. So learning to think and behave like a scientist allows them to learn how to ask questions, experiment, and inform decisions. You can also use real data, which is what we talked about on our previous slides about going out and finding things yourself. And then you can also give them student choice. Science allows students to tailor their learning to align with their personal interests, which allows for authentic learning to take place. And this is where I feel that science fairs are very important because it is a student choice. So maybe in the classroom, if you're doing an experiment day, you could have 2 or 3 stations that students could populate to. And these are just some examples of different types of experiments. We have the elephant toothpaste coming out of the water bottle. That can be done individually or as a group. And then if you look at the bread, that can be a whole class assignment where you see the students touch the bread after they've washed their hands. You touch the bread with just using Germ-X. You touch the hands with using nothing, and so forth. And it's an experiment on germs growing in mold. And then if we look at the bottom picture, that's definitely a whole group experiment. And you can just see the excitement on the kids' faces and how engaged they are. Next, I'm going to speak on incorporating technology, which is really big for us this year as a lot of us are virtually teaching. Kahoot and quizzes are the 2 platforms that I have found work for my class the best. And I also use them for formal assessments almost every single day. Students are also extremely engaged as it turns into a competition a lot of times between my students. So I'm just going to show you briefly what quizzes looks like and what Kahoot looks like, and I've already found 2 quizzes for you to look at. So let's look at science real quick in our quizzes. So you can view the questions. You can see how many questions that there are. And you can review what your students are going to be asking. In the search bar here, you can type in whatever you want to type in. I just typed in chemical science because that is what we had covered this previous week. And you can see how many times it's been played, and you can also see the grade level. And then we see Kahoot, which this will pop up, and you can always click continue for free. So here with Kahoot, you can see all different kinds of things as well, and it's a lot like quizzes. And you would just click discover, and you would be able to research whatever quiz you would like to take, or Kahoot. And the difference between Kahoot and quizzes is taken independently. So the students will be seeing questions pop up randomly, and there's a leaderboard that will show them what place they are in. Kahoot is read out loud, and it's an option where students pick multiple choice, and then you can just see the average of the answers. So I like to use quizzes as a review from previous materials. That way the students feel confident in their answers. And then I usually use Kahoot with something that we learned that day, so the students' names are not shown, and that usually has them participating more and more. And that is it for our presentation today. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.